building momentum and keeping momentum as well. It's definitely an interesting section for me, because I think as many people are, am guilty of building up my personal brand and then letting it slip when when work gets a bit hectic or life tends to sort of take over or grab more of your attention than it was doing before. So I think it's important to sort of understand a few different ways that you can try and keep momentum going despite these challenges that we're going to face.
Yeah, I would 100% also agree with you there. Like, this is definitely something I've experienced. Like, I've definitely run out of things to say because I haven't had sort of like structures or routines kind of like underpinning what I do. And like, I think that's just what it's all about. It's just about routine and sort of like being strict with that routine and sort of managing yourself. So there are a few practical techniques that you can sort of try out to get yourself into a routine and keep yourself posting. One of the things that one of our sales leaders in Cognism does say, Khan, is definitely worth a follow if you're sort of into sales content. But he swears by having a content plan. In that content plan, he'll plan out topics that he's going to tackle on certain days of the week, certain days of the month. And that makes sure that he's not sort of scrambling around in the morning, like thinking of something to say. Yeah, and that it gives him structure while also, I think, allowing him to be creative on the day and like to sort of maybe just weave in something that a little bit of context that might have just popped up to him that day or whatever. There's a more rigid approach as well that you can try, which is mentioned by a guy called Jason Vanner. He's quite a well-known sort of content marketing influencer. He speaks about bulk writing posts in advance. So I guess that all you need to do then is just schedule the posts every day that you want to. And that's going to save you brain power on a daily basis. Also, I think he speaks about it helping to create a narrative because you're writing something all at the same time. So your posts are going to be more interconnected than they would be if you were doing them sort of day to day. And yeah, takes care of the times when you're not feeling particularly inspired. There's one final approach which I guess like takes elements of both of these things, which I've been trying sort of for the last week too, because I did get really stuck and stopped posting for ages and like wanted to get back into it, but I realized I needed that kind of structure to underpin me. So to do that, I transplanted the pillar, page, and cluster blog concept from sort of SEO content to personal branding. For anyone who doesn't know what that is, so in content marketing, topic clusters are kind of like the offshoots of pillar pages, and a pillar page is a comprehensive top-level breakdown of a particular topic. So if my pillar is B2B SaaS content marketing, because that's what I do, my clusters would include, or my topic clusters, would include things like content marketing strategy, keyword research, SEO, content marketing metrics, content marketing career advice, all those kind of things. I think using a structure like that and adapting it to LinkedIn, you can get that level of consistency that Jason Vanner talks about without necessarily sort of preparing your post in advance. And yeah, it just prevents against that kind of scattergun approach, I think. So choosing the topic cluster and creating content around that for a set amount of time is going to help your followers, your connections, associate your personal brand with specific topics, which is always good for strong brand building. So in my case, I'm currently doing a series of content marketing career tips, organizing those tips into a specific cluster. Obviously, instead, like the blog cluster, like actual structuring on like a website or whatever, you can't emulate that on LinkedIn. Literally, but what you can do instead is sort of like create hashtags for each cluster of content that you create. So in every post that I do about this specific cluster, which happens to be about content marketing career tips, I include that hashtag as a CTA at the end of my posts and obviously direct viewers towards that. I guess the idea behind that is as more people engage with that cluster content, they won't have to kind of, if they're finding value from it, they won't have to scroll through all of my activity and like sift out like some of the other stuff I've posted to find like the value that they need. Instead, they can just navigate through it on the hashtag and sort of like find the value instantly. So just like a point about, I guess, UX, and I think LinkedIn sometimes doesn't help with that. Sometimes if you just rely on your feed, you end up just seeing like 3 or 4 people all the time posting, and you don't see half of the people that you that maybe you want to see, or you'd like at least like to know are posting. And I think having sort of like a set time when you're going to end these clusters is good, because again, that just gives you more structure, and you can move on to the next topic quite easily. So to do that, all you need to do to sort of like end it would be just create a new hashtag about a new cluster, and you can always return to the cluster topic that you've previously finished by using the old hashtag, and it will add all of those tips in quite a linear way to LinkedIn. Again, it just makes it easier over time for people to locate that content. So I do think one thing LinkedIn is kind of terrible for is like, if I saw something like 2 weeks ago that I found was useful on someone's page, like it would take me just ages to find that value. Or if it was a month ago, I've basically just got no chance of somebody's posting every day. Like I just don't have the time to do that. So I think this sort of like works against that kind of like unuser friendliness in a sense. And obviously having all of that content organized in one place, I think it's just better for you to create a community, and it'll help people connect with sort of like the themes that you're talking about, maybe on like a little bit of a deeper level. Not a proven strategy, something that I'm just testing at the minute, but like I've seen a really great LinkedIn sort of content influencer called Erin Bowser doing this. She created a hashtag thing called Erin100, sort of 100 content marketing tips that she's been doing for months and months and months. And on there, that's all you can find all of her tips under this one hashtag, which is like great, because she also posts about other things as well, which is not necessarily part of that. So just more linear experience for readers and your community.
I guess as well with that example, like having your own narrative to the things that you're creating, probably makes it a bit easier for you to come up with the ideas as well, because with the scattergun approach, it's like, what do I think of today? It could be anything. Whereas if you've got that sort of cluster approach, it just makes it a bit easier to come up with the ideas, right?
Exactly. It's, I mean, like when I first started out in content, like I was having it's kind of before I even like discovered SEO or anything like that, and like you are genuine. It's like generally wondering week to week, like what am I going to write about, or like how am I going to do a content plan, because I've got no idea. Like I'm just playing a guessing game basically. Whereas if you do insert that kind of structure into your routine, then you can at least do yourself a favor, I guess, day to day. That's much easier than to keep momentum and build momentum.